let's start with that.
Okay.
Who is Chris before the author now and father, husband?
Okay. Um, so I always joke around. I was born, raised, and trapped in Queens, New York. And, my parents were immigrant couple from the Philippines, and their main goal was to Americanize us as best they could. And, I have two younger brothers. So most of my childhood and teenhood was spent in Queens Village, New York, which is a town, not too rural, but not too suburban, kind of like right in the middle. And, from an early age, I just, I dealt with a lot of stuff. Being a new kid in the neighborhood, being the only Pacific Islander in my school, I faced a lot of bullying, on a regular basis. Actually, my fourth grade teacher was pretty abusive to me physically, mentally, and psychologically. And then at
Was
home,
she a
my
nun?
father was that?
Was your fourth grade teacher a nun by any chance?
No, no, and you know what? It's
Oh,
crazy because it was a public school, and
oh, okay.
it was actually a male teacher who was just he was like, from what I remember, he was the meanest man I could ever remember. So
All right, because
no, I
I had
mean
a I had an abusive nun in the fourth grade, so
well, yeah, so the story behind that is like, I remember being pinched and, having to deal with my teacher, like, spitting on me because, he was yelling so violently. I would
wow.
go home and tell my mom, and, my mom in the Philippines, all the schools are private, Catholic run schools. So for her, that was kind of normal.
Right.
That was the norm, facing, corporal punishment and, all this kind of, different style of teaching. So when I told her, the first thing she said to me was like, what did I do to deserve it? So that kind of sent me a message early on in my life that, I was getting, picked on by kids at school and being abused by my fourth grade teacher. And then I couldn't really tell my mom because, it was my fault, But, that was kind of my childhood growing up until, I got into a street fight as a young adult, that, I almost lost my life, and that pretty much, changed my whole life at about 20 or 21 years old.
So what happened with that situation? If you don't mind.
So I was, you know, running the streets for a good 5 or 6 years and making really bad decisions as a young, as a teenager and a young adult. And I picked a fight with the wrong kid in the neighborhood, and I paid for it. I had a broken nose and a shattered eye socket, and that really taught me that maybe the street life wasn't really what I wanted, and it really helped me understand that there is another life other than just running the streets and trying to be a tough guy. So I was lucky enough to come across Muay Thai, which is pretty much what saved my life. And I started training in my mom's living room. At the time the internet wasn't around. I found this Navy SEAL hand-to-hand combat course in the martial arts magazines, and I ordered a VHS, 3-set tape, and had it shipped to my mom's house. And me and my younger brother, would try to copy and practice all this stuff that we were learning. And the Muay Thai is what really, caught my eye. So, we destroyed my mom's living room for about a year until she finally put us in the garage and she said, "Go for it," you know. But at first my mom didn't understand why I wanted to try to learn how to fight better, because where she came from in the Philippines, fighting was for, my parents. My mom wasn't, she grew up from very humble beginnings, so fighting was something that was even lower in class than just where she was used to. So she didn't understand why we wanted to fight and try to be tough. So it was something that it was able to channel my anger and my frustrations, and and eventually became my life.
Yeah. So you started fighting like amateur at first?
I started fighting as an amateur. I found the gym in the Lower East Side of Manhattan in the mid '90s. It was probably one of the first Muay Thai gyms, established Muay Thai gyms around at the time. And I started training. I met an ex-fighter from Thailand who was my coach and mentor at the time. And I fought my first fight with him. And unfortunately, he only spent a short time in New York City before he went back off to Thailand. And that put a halt in my amateur fighting career for a little while. And then actually, in '98, I had my first son. At about 23 years old, and that kind of slowed my training and my fighting down a little bit. But I always kept my eyes on what I wanted, and that was even from that first fight. I knew I wanted to make this a part of my life somehow, and eventually back in 2001, I was able to get myself back into full-time training, and that's pretty much where my official amateur fight career started back in 2001 when the day the planes hit the towers in downtown Manhattan.
Yeah. So right now, so you're a business owner right now. You own your own gym facility. Tell us about that and how you got to become a business owner and open your own gym.
So, for even as a young adult and starting to learn Muay Thai and learning about the culture and the sport, luckily through my first mentor, I knew deep down inside that eventually I wanted to open up my own gym. And I even through my amateur and my professional fighting career, I made attempts to try to start my own program, and they all failed. They all failed miserably. And eventually, I met my wife, Sarah, at the boxing gym, and we moved out to Rockaway Beach here in New York, and we started teaching boot camp classes on the boardwalk here.
Together?
And yeah, together.
Oh, cool.
My wife was, she was an avid boxer when I met her at the time. Not competing, but she loved training.
Was that love at first sight then?
Yeah, pretty much.
You see this girl in the boxing gym fighting, and you're like, that's the one.
Yes. I used to joke around about finding your soulmate, and I didn't believe in it, but when I saw her working out in the gym, I was like, that's got to be a soulmate. She was, at first, I thought she was a professional boxer. I told myself, I was like, this has got to be the most gorgeous professional boxer I've ever seen, because of the way she would train. She would come in the gym, she wouldn't lull around and goof around. She would just get right to work, and that's not typical usually of anyone that trains in a boxing gym. Sometimes as a new boxer, you're kind of confused, but she didn't seem like a new boxer, so I just assumed that she was a fighter, but she turned out that she never fought a day in her life.
That's awesome.
So then we started teaching on the boardwalk, and things started to get, it started to get a little more popular, and people started training with us, twice a week, and then eventually we got enough people to believe in what we were doing. We opened up our own gym here in Rockaway in 2010, and literally 2 years to the day, Hurricane Sandy came by and pretty much, wiped away all those, dreams and years of hard work in less than 24 hours.
Wow. Yeah, tell us about that, man. That's...
So...
Because you're in a different facility now?
Yeah, now, looking back, it was a blessing. It was a huge blessing in disguise because we were in a 14, maybe not even 14, it was maybe 1,200 square feet of space that we began in. And, we worked really hard to open up that 1,200 square foot space because it was literally a hole in the wall storefront kind of shop that needed a lot of work. It didn't even have any, electrical power coming to the space. We spent, $10,000 having electricity run into the place so that we could have lights and the basics. Um, but yeah, when Sandy rolled through, it was devastating, not just to us, but the entire community. We were homeless for 6 months. We were living out of friends' basements and out of my mother's living room for a while. My younger son at the time was only about a year old. My older son at the time was, I think he was, if I remember correctly again, he was about, 10 or 11 or something like that. And we basically were left with, the clothes on our back, after Hurricane Sandy rolled through. But, it, again, it was a blessing because now we're in a 5,000 square foot gym, with, we started out with 60 members, at the old gym, and now we have over 300 members. So, if that's a testament to coming back and fighting back, I don't know what is.
Oh yeah, that's a crazy story. Good for you, man.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, tell me about the book. Like, what is the book partially about? Like your story and what you guys are doing now and stuff.
Yeah, pretty much. I might have given a little bit too much away, but there's a lot more detail to a lot of those stories. But yeah, the book is my trials and struggles through childhood, teenhood, the fighting years, and then the gym years or the building years. So I like to say that the book is not just like a woe is me kind of story. Like, oh my gosh, like, look at what, this guy's been through. Like, I hope that the goal of the book is to inspire people, to show people that, all our struggles, they're not the same, but they're universal in some way or another. That anybody from any walk of life can read my book and say, you know what? If he can go through that, I can handle life too. The same.
Yeah. And the book's on Amazon now?
Yeah, the book is on Amazon. It's in a paperback or Kindle version.
Okay. Say the name of it.
The book is called Champions Uprising.
Yep.
Fall 7 times, stand up 8.
That's great. That's awesome,
And,
man.
thank you. I really appreciate that, Greg. It's, it took a lot of, facing my own fears to really put that book out there because for a long time I was, I was the type of person that would never share anything that was going on in my life, whether it was good or bad. I just wanted to kind of, keep stuff inside because I just assumed that people didn't care. But now I'm learning that people do care because, the book sales are doing really well and we're getting great reviews on the book and, people are responding and replying and saying that, that it's inspiring them and it's doing exactly what we wanted the book to do.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you coming on here and sharing your story, bro. I really do. This is going to go out to a lot of people and, it's definitely going to help put things in perspective for a lot of people. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah. So, good luck with everything. What else are you up to right now? You guys got the gym. You were doing something with an online summit too, right? Like,
Yeah, we did the first ever World Muay Thai Summit at the end of towards the end of the year of 2016, and now what I'm leading into is more, obviously promoting the book, but now, giving motivational and inspirational speeches to high schoolers and pretty much any demographic that feel like they need some kind of motivation or inspiration and learning how to overcome adversity. Because I wish I had more mentors as a younger kid growing up. And so my goal is I want to be the person that I wish I had when I was a teenager, growing up. And, maybe I wouldn't have made as many of the mistakes that I made to put me in situations that I didn't probably need to be in. But you know what? Everybody's got to learn the hard way, and hopefully I can help other people not, go down the wrong route, especially in our neighborhood here in Rockaway Beach, where, it's, there are lots of variables that kids have to deal with here that could lead them down, the wrong journey.
Yeah. Well, you don't just talk the talk; you walk the walk. Because I see you like on Facebook with your kids all the time, doing stuff with them. So you're a good family guy.
Thank you.
Me and your wife network a lot with the fitness stuff. So I wish you the best, brother.
Thank you, Greg, man. I appreciate it. It's an honor to be here and, hopefully share and hopefully inspire somebody.
You definitely will. I appreciate you coming on, man. And let's keep in touch.
For sure. Thank you, Greg.
All right? Enjoy the rest of your day.
All right. You too.
Thanks, bud.
Thank you.